Hey, excuse me. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Sure, sure. Let me get some water real quick. I really had to. All right, what's going on, y'all? Let me check one thing real quick before I get started on what I want to talk about tonight. And I hope that you guys are having a wonderful evening tonight. I'm not going to try to be on here too long, but look at me sound like some pastor of your church or something like that. Okay. Excellent, man. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm looking good on Instagram. I had to check the Instagram feed and make sure I'm showing it right. What's going on, Albert? How you doing? Ooh, excuse me. Listen, tonight on tonight's wonderful episode, I'm streaming right tonight on Mixcloud and no, not Mixcloud. I'm sorry. I'm on Twitch tonight. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube, and I'm on both Facebook pages. So what's going on, everybody? Let me go ahead and bring this up here. Hey, love the shirt. Let's get this from CHH ChristianHipHopUniversity.com, or just go to the website. Just Google Christian Hip Hop University. You can get one of these shirts and all other kinds of shirts out there. Listen, tonight I was going through a lot of my inbox, and I got a lot of questions that came from a lot of people. So independent artists, people were asking me a lot of questions. And so what I did was I wrote up all the questions or printed them out, on a sheet, and I'm gonna read off these questions and I'm gonna answer them for you guys in general discussion about Christian hip hop. So these questions were great questions, and a lot of them are dealing with just music in general, Christian hip hop. So without further ado, let me go and get started with the first question I was asked. They were asking me, so do you do music reviews? If no, why don't you do it? So this came from this first question. Do I do music reviews? And the answer right now is no. Um, and why haven't I done a music review? I did it. I think I started out in the beginning, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I started doing somewhat similar to doing music reviews with the way how, on social media with music, the streaming services, blocking the music and even independent artists kind of stopped. And now we have some ways to do music reviews. I'm gonna try to start it up again, Lord willing. I'm gonna see how that works. But for the most part, I haven't done music reviews. And it's really just to kind of learn from doing music reviews. I think I just had to get a confirmation from God about doing music reviews. And for those of you who are in this, video tonight, you can also ask your questions, and I'll be grateful to answer a lot of your questions. You have your artist, your producer, whatever you're going to ask me. You can ask away, type your questions in, and I'll be able to gratefully to respond to your questions also. So I'm just answering these ones. But for movie reviews, I think these reviews might be something in the near future. I don't know yet when I want to bring it out. But there are people who are doing these reviews. Maybe some of them, I don't know if they're charging or anything, but I probably will probably do one in the near future. I just got to get a confirmation from God for this one. It's a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of consistency. So we'll see how that operates. Oh, Albert, okay, you asked a great question. This leads me to my second question, which you have just asked also. Somebody did ask, how can I submit my music to you? All right, that's the easiest one. You can email me your music at DJ JesusBeats, that's BEATS, at gmail.com. That's let me type that in right here. So if you're on that's beats at gmail.com. That's DJ JesusBeats at gmail.com. Um I'm working. Yes, now that's another thing. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. So I'm working on my website to do submissions and all that stuff. So that's another project in the making. But for the meantime, I can take WAV files or MP3 files. If it's MP3, I need them in 320 kilobytes per second, 320 kbs, not 256, not 192, not 128, not 96, because the lower quality will do a lot of damage with your music later on when I'm trying to play it on streaming services and stuff. So 320 is the highest that you can go in the MP3s. Wave files at your highest level, I think you can do 64 meg, whatever. I forgot the number for wave files, but I could take wave and MP3s at 320. I make sure music is properly labeled. So make sure you put your artist name, space, hyphen, space, the name of the song. So if your artist name is Chosen One, put Chosen One, space, dash, space, and the name of your track. So your name of your song could be Open Fire. Okay, so make sure you put Open Fire. Don't do all caps. I don't know why artists are doing caps. All caps, that thing is annoying to me. It's weird. But I know some artists are doing this, but I don't know if it's because of laziness. I don't know. All caps is, to me, it's like shouting. So just put it like in, whichever you gotta do, just put it in whichever way. If you're a feature artist, then put in parentheses after the song title, put in parentheses FEAT period, like featuring, but you just put in like a short term, like FEAT period space, and then the artist name, okay? And close parentheses. Uh, there's a lot of, well, there's a lot of chosen ones out there. I think there's a lot of artists that I know that are chosen ones. They spell it all differently. You got chosen one. There's one chosen WUN. Seen artists with chosen the number one, chosen ONE. I've seen it all spelled. I've seen so many different variations of just an artist named Chosen One. The other thing I need also is your ISRC code for your song because we got to give you credit for royalty. And last but not least, I need what's up, Big Steve? Then I also need if you got an artist name that's weird to pronounce, do a pronunciation, a pronunciation way of saying how to say your name. So, if you got those, you got artists that have some weird accent names and stuff, don't know how to say your name. So just, we want to make sure we say your name the correct way for everybody. Because I'm not, when I get your music, if your music great, I forward it over to other people. So I don't just keep it for my own purposes. Um, Instrumental acapella, if you got them, that'd be great also. Instrumental acapella, we're always looking for those. I don't think there's one DJ in the world that does not want instrumentals acapellas to music. So that's a bonus for us if we can get that. Okay. And so that's it. Your little bio, if you want to put some more things in there. Um, but the more information we get, the more easier it is for us to disseminate that stuff. And cover art also. If you got your cover art, put that in the email or whatever you can use. You can use MailChimp, you can use WeTransfer, you can use Dropbox, whichever way is easiest for you. So, but that's for everybody. So, I'm glad you asked that question because I know that's the one that I put that as number two. Should have been number one, but I put it number two because that was the second question that was asked to me about how to submit your music. So, how to submit your music? DJJesusBeats@gmail.com. Number three, the next question somebody asked me: how can I listen to your mixes? This is a good one. I'm in the process of working. I do have some mixes out from YouTube, and I have some from SoundCloud, and I have some on Mixcloud.com. I'm in the process of doing these mixes. A lot of my mixes I've done on radio and stuff. I'm cleaning them up, trying not making them perfect, but just trying to clean them up because there's a lot of things I got to take out of the mixes. Just a lot of like, I have some mixes that I have done. I just got to upload them to Mixcloud. So um, eventually, I'm gonna start getting those ready pretty soon. It's not an easy task, but it can be done. I'm just trying to get some things to make it look more professional. So I will be doing that. I can't give you a date, but I will be doing that. So that's a good question. The next question I got, is it better to release a new single with a well-known artist as a feature, or should I release my music as myself? That is a great question right there. What's up, Jess? What's up, Godswill? Psalms 91 and Kinetic for Christ. What's going on? How you guys doing on Instagram? That is a great question. So let me read that question again. This artist asked me a question. Is it better to release my new single with a well-known artist first as a new feature, or should I release my a new single by myself as the own artist? Um, That's a great question also. The answer to that, my personal opinion and recommendation for any artist out there who's an up and coming artist, a new artist, an independent artist, if this is your first official single that you're releasing, release a single that is only you. This is my personal opinion. This is not fact. This is not going to be law. It's just DJ G's Beats' personal opinion. My personal opinion is that you should release your own individual track first. And the reason why is because you want your audience to, or the up and coming potential audience, or even audience who have heard your music or just for the first time ever, you want them to be able to get a great grasp of who you are first before you start releasing a featured single with some well-known established artist. And the reason why, my personal opinion, why I believe this is because to me personally, when I see an independent artist I've never heard of before, and they submit a song and it's featuring a well-respected, well-known artist, it brings up red flags immediately to me. Um, I personally think that I will personally believe that you did it for you paid I know for number one that you paid this artist $1,000 or a stack or more to get them to be featured on your track. It shows that you did it for the money, but you're doing it for an opportunist, and not in a bad way. But I understand why you're doing it because you want to build the algorithm. You want the algorithm to come to you on Spotify. But the bad thing about it is just the integrity that I personally believe that comes from your music. I personally believe that you don't have enough integrity and enough confidence to believe that you can release a track on your own. So for me, as and it could be a hot track. I've seen independent artists do this all the time. Um, and a lot of times I just kind of like, I'll still play it, but I don't really take that independent artist very seriously anymore. I just kind of like, okay, they might come up with another track later on and so forth. But for the most part, I usually kind of just blow it off and say, okay, well, they probably put like this artist on there. Like I've had an independent artist, several independent artists who have come out with new releases and they put 1K view on it. And unfortunately, the other Achilles heel that I personally believe in opinions about doing features with well-known artists as your first single is that sometimes the well-known artist will pretty much destroy you on your own music, your own track. And like I said, I could be wrong. And what's up, Crazy One? What's up, man? Could be wrong on this, but I remember going back to 2008, 2009 to the 2010 era. The one artist who to this day has officially destroyed artists on their own singles was D-Mob. And if you don't know who D-Mob was, D-Mob is now the owner of Good Apparel, the clothing line, apparel line. We got several stores in Cincinnati, Ohio. But D-Mob was also a gospel rapper, Christian rapper. And D-Mob, anybody who featured D-Mob would go hard on that track. It's like D-Mob would do it in one take and embarrass you. And then these other artists would scramble to get, once they got his vocals, they would like, oh man, I had to go deep in the studio and re-record because D-Mob went hard. So he used to challenge a lot of artists. I think he did it, I don't think he did it intentionally, but if he did, it was probably one of the best things I've ever seen in Christian hip hop that era and time frame. But D-Mob used to come out with songs and I'd be like, man, I don't even want to hear the independent artists who put him on the track. I just want to hear D-Mob's part. And I really wanted D-Mob just to do the whole song by himself. So that's just me, my personal take. Like I said, it's my personal opinion. I'm not here to say that this is law, but it's just how I take on it. So my personal opinion about this is our independent artists, release your own track first. Do something and have enough confidence to release your own track. Let us hear you first. Let's get a great, better understanding of where you're coming from, how your rap flow is, how your style, your creativity. Just get to hear you first in a series of songs. Because what that does is, for me personally, it builds up a great uh, listenership of who you are, and I can be able to kind of beat off of your persona, if that makes sense to you. I don't know if that's like talking too deep or whatever, but hearing your persona sounds like a really amazing thing. And then when you feature another artist, it should be the point where you should be seasoned enough to put a well-known artist on your feature, and then you can be able to learn a lot more from that featured artist who's well known, even if you pay them like $1,500 or $1,000 to be on your track. but at least you can match up with their energy, their level, and everything like that. So that's just my personal take on it. But I hope, like I said, if you do it this way, whatever way you do it, we're still going to support you. It just depends on how the song is released. But me personally, I believe that independent artists should start off on your own first. Let us get to know who you are first in your music, and then put a featured artist like whoever you can get on there, and let us hear the creativity. So you can put a Jordan Armstrong, and Jordan Armstrong comes in with them vocals, them singing vocals, and then now it complements you, complimenting each other on this song. So that's my take on it. All right, the next question. What's your opinion? Another person asked me, "What's your opinion on new Christian hip hop music today compared? What's your opinion on new Christian hip hop music released today compared to the past years?" This is a good question too, from this individual person. My take on today's new Christian hip hop music is it does sound great production wise. Um, a lot of the creativity is there. It's really good. The like I said, production quality, the style, is pretty good. I think what's lacking is just the ministry part on a lot of songs. I'm not looking for every song to be churchy or anything like that, but I do believe that a lot of songs are being rushed out so fast to fill this void with the algorithm and trying to catch up with the algorithm on these streaming sites. But I do believe that a lot of creativity is lost. And I do believe that my personal take on some of the songs I've been hearing is it's lacking the ability and the marketability of a song to where it lasts. It's a longevity song. Some of these songs are just like a fly by night song. Like, okay, you went in the studio, recorded it, or it was a song that you just didn't pay attention to that much or attention to detail. And the song just it's like a song you hear, but you'll forget it after a certain amount of time. So that's my personal opinion. Like I said, none of this is factual or nothing. I'm not trying to form no facts. I'm just looking at what's up, real DJ Black. What's up? This is just what my personal opinion is on a lot of the music that I'm hearing today. A lot of it sounds great, but a lot of it do sound redundancy. There's a lot of redundancy in the music too, which also I can believe that sounds like a lack of creativity. Some of the music sound like they're going to the same producer, or they're trying to follow the same trend. It's like whoever releases something that sounds dope, and you guys go and find a producer that's on the same level, same caliber, and your songs are in the flows and stuff is sounding the same. So I believe that I think my best advice or something I would like to request from a lot of artists now in CHH is that you guys would find time to ask God, to go through God, get a great confirmation, study your music, study your craft. But I think we need a lot more songs to teach about real life things that's going on a biblical standpoint also. So you don't have to go up there and be quoting scriptures and stuff, but I do would like to hear a lot more doctrinally sound music and lyrics to where people can get fed the word while they're still being entertained by your style and creativity and your rap flow and your beats. So if you can do something like that in that combination, I think Christian hip hop has evolved. It's great, and I think it needs to be a lot better at really giving God the real true honor and praise. What I have noticed in the new music now is a lot of these songs are sounding like self praise, while you're still mentioning God in your music. So it's like you're talking more about yourself and what you can do and what you've done, as opposed to focusing on Christ, focusing on Jesus Christ, focusing on God, and not just bragging about what you have overcame and what you have done, because that's what it sounds like, self-glorification. Like I said, a lot of songs I've been listening to, it just sounds that way. It just sounds like I'm bragging about myself. I'm bragging on my beast. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing a song like that. All right. We do need some self-hype songs, but too much of your releases are sounding the same like that. So just be careful. What's up, DJ Chemistry? How you doing? So let's go to the next question. This next question was asked to me in my messenger. Who are your top 10 Christian hip hop artists? Hey, okay, so I'll start. Then, um, in no rank order, I don't have no rank order. So it's just, these are my top 10 artists I've always admired throughout the years. Flame, KB, Mike Teasy, Mouthpiece, Lecrae, Derek Minor, Jafia Life, Tripley, Bizzle, and Dayton. Those are my top 10 Christian CHHRs that those are my top 10. There's no ranking order, there's no power structure. Those are just my top 10. So once again, it's Flame. And the reason why I like Flame so much is Flame has always been consistent, even though he's changed his theological journey. He's I think he was like a Calvinist or a reformist, and now he's a Lutheran. So, but the one thing I love about Flame is he's always been consistent with giving you doctrinally sound music with lyrics and hot beats all together, a great flow. And he's done that consistently for almost past 10 years. So Flame is like KB. Well, what more can I say about KB that hasn't been said about this young man? Amazing. Just he comes with the word. He doesn't need no introduction. He just gives it to you. Just without even asking for it. All of his music is in some ways can be praise. It can be just straight up bobbing your head. And one moment he just give you like bam in your face, and it's just so refreshing to hear another artist besides Flame like KB just coming with the music. He comes with the truth, biblical truth. He doesn't stay away from that. He can do a lot of collaborations from the CCM side to going to Christian pop side to he can do Afrobeats if he wanted to. But whatever journey he goes on, you can tell that KB goes into that word and he goes into that war room with God, and God gives him an anointing to make this music that just sounds like, oh my goodness, it sounds so amazing. You can brag about that. Mike Teasy is one of my favorite up and coming artists. This young man has the passion of Jesus Christ in him, and at his shows, at his events, this man's from North Carolina, but he goes in there, he goes hard also. He's very people person, very, very just an extrovert from the extreme. He just goes out there and preaches the gospel, and he's so humble with it. But he has it's like sometimes you might think he's a little arrogant, but he's like just so humble, and I love it. And then this brother has released so many tracks. He's like, I don't want to compare him to no secular artists, but he's been trying to release tracks like Lil Wayne. Like Lil Wayne, one year released like in 1 year, I think Lil Wayne released like 75 songs in 1 year, and all out of 75, I think almost like 70 of them were in the top Billboard charts and stuff. But anyways, but not comparing him to Lil Wayne, it's just the method of how he's releasing music. Every song that he's released, I have not found one bad song. I think the only thing is that he's released so much music because the album is picking up. It's just like it's a really great song. So sometimes it's hard for us as a DJ to figure out, okay, what's the one song I want to keep marketing? Because every last one of them are great. So I love my Teasy. Mouthpiece. What more can we say about Mouthpiece? Mouthpiece, his name speaks for itself. Mouthpiece is the most I could say like he's pretty much been the low key underground Christian rapper out there that delivers the message also, delivers the word, everything. It's just I love everything about Mouthpiece, man. And he's so humble with everything. He's not looking to be in the number one spot. He just obedient to God. Love it. Lecrae. Now some of y'all might be arguing with me back and forth about this. I don't know. But I gotta say, look, Lecrae, watching this journey with Lecrae for well over a decade, Lecrae has been one of those artists that, his rap flow to you may not be the most best or perfect one, but it's a consistency of what he's done. And yes, to me personally, and I did take it a little personal at one time when he changed over from church clothes and started going into this whole other realm of music and stuff. And even though I used to have issues with the interviews and stuff, but overall, Lecrae has never stepped away from the church. He's never stepped away from Christ. He's never stepped away from the Word of God. He just has a way of how he was able to reach audiences that many of us could not reach. And the path that he went down, I may not have been able to understand and grasp the whole concept of what his path was. Because I had to allow God to be, to God to, humble me and realize that the path he was going was a path that somebody say he might have made the wrong decision. But the one thing I love about Lecrae is he's very transparent about what his decisions and his actions, and he's always been open about the Word of God. So, regardless of what people might say, I have nothing but the utmost fond respect of Lecrae of how his music has grown. Even when he wasn't saying certain things and what I wanted to say in the music, he was still preaching the gospel in the music. You can't go up there and say that you didn't hear one bad Lecrae song. Um, but I've heard a lot that it's been really great, and I'm impressed with the brother. The brother's amazing. So he's in the top 10. Then Derek Minor. What more can I say about Derek Minor that hasn't been said about anybody but Derek Minor? Derek Minor is one of those guys that started off, and I used to always hear when he was called pro. When he was called pro, and those who know about him, he came out against key as crap. Oh man, I wanted to punch that dude in the mouth. And I don't know, and I had a natural hate for him just when he first came out. I'm like, I don't think he is. He just, but it was a transition he was going through. And then the more I kept listening to him, and he changed the name from Pro to Derek Minor. And this brother has been delivering just great Christian hip hop music. Uh, and I love it. I love it. I mean, I love Derek Minor, man. It's just, and he takes you on a journey, and he's very transparent now. I mean, if you go reach out to him, he's always on Instagram, and he's very vocal about his albums and all his music. He's reaching out to the audience. You guys, you will love it, you'll love it, and he's very very transparent. So, and he's a man of God, just like anybody else. So, but his music is growing. It's growing on me. I love it. I love how the way he delivers it. He also acts like a businessman, so it's really great. Excuse me. Um, so a lot of people have grown. He started his own independent label, and a lot of artists are learning from him. So that's a great thing. He started off, working with like the Reach Records and everybody else, and he wasn't on Reach Records, but he just worked with all those guys. And anybody who's went through Reach Records as far as a distribution deal or just being under the shelter, under the nurturing and the welcoming of Reach Records have learned a lot, and a lot of them have become business leaders. Then next we got so I love Derek Mike. Jafar Life. Man, Jafar Life was an artist that grew on me over the years. And one thing I can say about Jafar Life's music is it just has a way of metaphorically teaching you about who God is without having to say all of that. And Jafar was taking this on a journey, and a lot of times we slept on anyone who was listening to Jafar Life, most of us slept on a lot of the music. It was not to say that the music was bad. It was just the style. If you're not into the East Coast style and that boom bap and that style of being in like Philly or somewhere where that style of music really resonates at, it was like, okay, well, I can hear it. I can hear his flow. I can hear what he's talking about. And just, but the more I went back to all of his albums, I could really hear and I could really understand and comprehend what Jafar was talking about in regards to God, in regards to Jesus, in regards to the Word. And then when he had that album, he was dedicating to his mother. I think that touched me a lot. Now my mom's still here, but I'm just saying. But it was just the passion that he put into his albums, and even today, man, that this brother goes on social media and he is going hard for Christ. He's actually schooling a lot of people about the difference about being a Christian, about being saved, about being Christian rapper. He's not dancing around and not saying, "Hey, I'm not a Christian rapper." He's like, "Hey, man, this is what you really need to be, and you need to be bold about." And you need, and this, he's teaching a lot of young people today. So Jafar Life is always going to be in my top 10 with his music. His music has grown over me over the years. And it's just like I said, when you get like a DJ, you get so much, your ear is always in tune with hearing music. But sometimes we get too much of a certain style that sometimes you can tune out of great music that comes from different styles because you're so used to a one-dimensional style. So this is why it took me years to kind of just tune out what I was used to hearing, them 808s, and hearing something totally different. The melodies, the chords, the beat, the different types of pattern, and the flow. So Jafar Life is in up there. Bizzle, that's another artist that grew on me. Now Bizzle, when he first came out, I ain't gonna lie, man, I was like, I wasn't feeling Bizzle because I was like, who is this Negro think he gonna try to challenge Jay-Z? So I was in the era where I was just, I was still learning myself as a Christian and as a DJ. So I was trying to learn where the balance was, where I can learn how to filter things out and learn um my convictions. So I was learning how to balance my convictions at the time. I was still a new babe in Christ and or developing into a regular Christian, but at the same time, Bizzle was coming out with music, and the first thing that made him popular was challenging a song where he rapped over Jay-Z's instrumental, and he was challenging Jay-Z. And I always like most people were like, "Oh man, he went hard," and I was like, "Nah, that's battle." I love what he said. I love what he said, but I always tell everybody he lost the battle. And they were like, "Oh, he didn't lose the battle, man. He went hard." I said, "No, you lose the battle when the person you're going after doesn't respond to you. That's the worst dish you can ever get. When you go after the big dog and the big dog don't even acknowledge you." I said, in the end, Jay-Z treated him like a fart in the wind that never stopped, never stinks. I said, that's the worst dish you could ever get when you try to call somebody out and they don't even take the time to even respond. They don't even do a letter. They don't even do nothing. They don't even give you a punching grip. They just like Jay-Z was like, what? Which person you really think he is? Hey, he might be right, though. Listen, I'm a millionaire. I'm a billionaire. I don't need to talk to this person. So I always thought that. First, I was wrong about that stuff. But in return, I love how Bizzle has been the storyteller. And I love like my favorite song from Bizzle to this day is called Somebody. Somebody. And when you listen to that song, it's like how Ray Bizzle just talking about this brother who is going through a situation and how he in the end he's talking to this he's giving advice to this brother. He's like, "Hey, I don't have no third verse." That was like so the one that was like this song I ain't really mad that he didn't have a third verse on. And you're like, man, what you gonna listen to this song, man? This song is great. But it's still like it's a soundtrack to my life because Bizzle has grown so much in as far as what he tells you in the music. Bizzle is not the one to hold his tongue about issues that's going on, whether it's racial issues, Greg Minor, racial issues, literally racial issues. They'll tell you. They're not ashamed to tell you about. Yes, we've been in the streets, but at the same time, we know about the black on black violence. We know about these things, but we're gonna call out this racism too. These racist Christians and all these other things that's going on. Well, I don't, I'll talk about that later on. But to me, Bizzle is amazing. His latest project is amazing. If you haven't heard the song "No L's," it just makes you dance, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna play that at some function one day. I'm just gonna play it just to have people just enjoying it. And then last but not least is Dayton. He's part of the same God Over Money label with Bizzle. And Dayton, to me, has been an artist that I've had music for years when I had West Coast Fire Radio. And this guy has grown so much in his ministry. He's went through divorce. He's went through a lot of losing friends, family members, and stuff like this. And he's went through the joys, the ups and downs, the pains. But his music speaks light, and he is 100% unashamed to be a Christian rapper. He's unashamed to be a Christian. He's unashamed to teach the gospel to you. He wants to preach the gospel. He is somebody that uh, like I said, it's amazing. It's amazing. And He's in my top 10. I love his music too. He's humble. And Bizzle continues to go hard for the Lord. These are artists that are not just entertaining you, they are ministers. They're ministers in their own ways. It's not ordained, but just a minister of music. And God is using him in the right path. Some honorable mentions I have also. Seven. That's another artist. Seven. Seven is like if I had a top 27s in there. And I know, like, for those who are Seven fanatics, we know that Seven likes to drop the N bomb in a lot of his music. But getting past all of that, Seven is one of those guys that is passionate about the gospel just as much as anybody else. I remember him coming down to Savannah, and I remember I was on the phone with him, and this dude, the first thing out of his mouth was, "Look, hey, I want to know what areas you got where I can go and minister. I just want to go out there and evangelize in the hoods. He wanted to go to the hoods. And I was like, well, of course, Zion, who's from Savannah, Zion was like, hey, I'll take you to the areas that, because, he's from Savannah. So I am from Savannah. So I know about hood areas, but I ain't going there. I told him, said, I ain't going. I said, God just called you to go to the hoods. God called me to go to the cul-de-sacs, to go to the gated communities where I might get racially profiled. They won't racially profile me hard because I look like I fit in the we laugh about that stuff because I'm like, been military base housing and nice neighborhoods and nuclear family living homes. I ain't grew up in like no south side, no Watts, and I don't know about the boarded up homes and all this other stuff. I don't know about all that stuff. I know nice neighbors. Whether they're black, white. White people watching your house, they watch you. They watch when you get in the car. They might call the police on you, but still at the same time, they're like, you're one of the good ones. You, no, no. So I'm used to that. So I always tell him, but I love his ministry. That brother goes hard for the Lord. I mean, he really wants to minister. He will go up to gang members, gang bangers, teenagers. Doesn't matter. He'll go up to you. And he's going to minister. So some other people like Fizzle, and then all these other. There's somebody, but those are my top 10. All right. So I don't want to beat that on a dead horse, but I went up there. Okay. Yes. Somebody else did, like Mike Teasy. He also sings and raps. He's a hybrid too. So people who can sing and rap, like Kenton Jones can sing and rap. Mike Teasy can do it. There's several others that's doing it now. Like a lot of other artists are doing that. So that's really great to see hybrids. All right, the next question I have is, what are some of your biggest pet peeves in Christian hip hop or with artists in general, or just anything in general? So, what are some pet peeves I have? One is artists who promote their music on posts that are irrelevant to anything talking about music. Let me repeat that again. One of my pet peeves is artists who promote their music and their links on social media posts that have nothing to do with music related stuff. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of one that just happened recently. Now there's two. I'm gonna give you two examples. One happened to me where I put medical posts and I was just talking about, I'm a Christian DJ. These are the types of songs that I support. I never posted up that, hey, I want y'all put your social media links in there. But later I know when I went back after an hour or two after that post and people were liking it and stuff, what they do were putting up there, all these artists were putting their links in there. They didn't even say hello, how you doing, DJ JesusBeats. Just put the YouTube link up on there. What's up, Anisha? How you doing, sis? What's up, doctor? Just put the links. Just even listen. And it was funny to me because it was like, wow. Let me give you another one. BJR Jesus, and forgot to mention in the beginning. BJR Jesus just buried his father today. So, his dad passed away several days ago. And of course, I'm going to put up a post, and he kind of reached out to me, him and Sean Blue, and we reached out to several of us DJs because we do have a social media following. So they asked us on behalf, can we get the news out there that his dad had passed away. So I did a post, and I think several the other DJs did it to our audience and stuff. And uh, I rock kind of was going around thanking everybody that responded to a lot of the posts and saying condolences and stuff. And this one individual, I think, reached out to him and kind of gave his condolences. And then, so I responded back, and the guy said, "Hey, look, praying for you. But here, check this music out. It might help you out." And he put the YouTube link in response. And me and Rock laughed so hard, but it was like sad, but we laughed so hard at this. Like this man, I said, "We will never check out again. You would just lost your, you lost your freaking mind." This dude had just lost his dad. He's getting ready to bury his dad, and the last thing you can do as an artist is in a social media post try to promote yourself when somebody's mourning the loss of their family member, and you're gonna talk about, "Hey, check this song out." And so we had to laugh at that. You gotta laugh at situations like that. But that's a big pet peeve, artists. Don't if the social media post does not belong, it doesn't have any relevancy to music. Don't use that as an opportunity to market yourself. That's like too soon, and that's bad. That's bad. That lets me know that you're too desperate. And lets us know that your music is not worth listening to if you're desperate to market yourself on a post that doesn't have nothing to do with marketing music. If I put up a post and I put up say, "Hey, my wife is looking beautiful today. Y'all, just tell her how beautiful she is and give us a likes and hearts." And all of a sudden, I get links when you putting up your song link. Like, no, no, I didn't ask for song links. I just told you just look at the. Yes, John, they do be blacklisted. Um, oh, Jackson, what's up, man? This is DJ Jay Shane. He's on Facebook right now. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just reading off some questions that were asked to me about some people just asked. Another pet peeve I have is music that's not tagged properly. And any DJ or radio person in here who's watching this video or will be watching the video knows that that is one of our biggest pet peeves. Your music has to be labeled properly. If your music's not labeled properly, chances are it will probably be bypassed. I will be the first to tell you that your music will never be heard or never be supported. It will probably be deleted if you send it to the wrong people or right people, but the wrong presentation. And I'll just tell you like this. Um, it's like doing a job interview. Your first impression is your last. So when you submit your music to any of us, you got to be professional about it. And the answer is no unless you ask. That's always the advice I'll give you. The answer is no unless you ask. So ask questions. Hey, how can I submit my music? Most of you do that. You do a great job. Then you can ask even more questions. What do I need to send you in this email? Or how should I send it to you? What information do you need from me before I send it to you? And they will explain in detail. Some people have websites. They'll say, "Hey, go to this link and follow those instructions." Some people will just type it up for you. But ask the question. Do not just throw it out there. Because if you just throw your song in an email with no just attachment, no information, that lets me know it's bad presentation, and chances are I'm going to just ignore and delete it because now I know that your song is probably not going to be good because you don't even present it well. I mean, there's so many analogies I could use. Maybe I could use this one right here. Maybe, for if you're a parent, for those who are parents, if you've got a child and your wife your girlfriend or your wife just gave birth to your child, and you want to show your baby off to your friends and family and everybody to see the child for the first time, you're not going to present the baby with boo boo all over its face. maybe split up and it's got all, split up, knock all over the body and everything. You're going to present that child in the best presentation that you possibly can because this is your child and you know that, you know, man, I want to just show the world my beautiful child right here. So you don't want your child to be like, oh, so, I mean, there's other analogies you can use also if you don't have children. Like you want to show off your new car, all right? But you don't want to go crash a car and then show it off with damage and dents in it. You want to show it off in pristine condition. You know, you're not gonna have all this food and junk inside your car and open the door up and all of a sudden like McDonald's wrappers and stuff like that and Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets come rolling out. Joshua says, send the submission formatted correctly with an MP3 that has the ID3 tags correctly labeled and professionally produced and mastered at least one. Well, okay, let's correct you on that one. No more 32s, only 320. From here on out, when we take music submissions, 320, 320. No, and I'm going to tell you why I go 192s. Because when you send it out to us in 192, you can remember, we have programs, we have DJ software, we have radio automation software. We are using different types of programs where we're pushing music out. And guess what? When you're pushing at 192, guess what happens? Like, whatever streaming service we use, like I'm using Restream right here, Restream.io to catch my video. So if I play a song file, it's going to compress the video even more, right? So it's going to take the if I'm streaming in 4K, it's gonna look like I'm streaming in 4K, but it's gonna compress it down to 120. So it's gonna compress it down to an HD, format. So with music, anything it does with MP3s or files, 192 is gonna get compressed down to 128. So, but when it gets to 128, it's not gonna sound like 128. It's gonna sound like it's 96 or even lower kilobytes per second. So your sound quality is gonna lose its definition, high definition. So at 320, which is the highest level you need at music, if it compresses, it don't compress down to 256. 320 is going to be compressed down to maybe a 319 at least at most. But it won't go as far as a 256. It's going to be in the 320 somewhere or 319 or 318. So at least it's still high quality. But the more that if you have in your best quality, it will sound a lot better when it's streaming. Whether it's on internet radio stations, most of us stream at 128 kilobytes per second because that is what, and that's the original standard right now. But a lot of streaming services are now allowing us to stream at least 320. And so at the time we had to do 128 because that's a standard that most digital cell phones and could handle with audio streams. That's why we everybody mostly does it at 128. So when you listen to internet radio stations, they're not streaming. Most of them are not streaming at 320. They're streaming at 128. So if music is at 320, then at least it still sounds, even if it's compressed at 128, it still sounds good. But if your music is at 128 and then you try to stream it, now it sounds like trash. or not that it won't sound trash, but it just does to the naked ear, it probably won't sound like nothing to you. To all of us who have a digital radio ear or a music ear, we know the difference. We can hear the difference in quality of sound. So that's why from here on out, I want all artists make sure you release your music in 320 kilobytes per second MP3, not 192. 192 is the horrible sound in today's market. So um the other thing, let's say, the other pet peeve, those who publicly complain about others on social media. That's another thing. Okay, so what I mean by this, if you are an artist or you're a DJ, you're a podcaster, you're somebody who has a platform, and let's just say, as an example, you got mad at XYZ person or an entity, a business, a corporation, because you got mad because they didn't give you the respect or they didn't give you the quality that you were looking for or they just blown you off. Do not And I repeat, do not get on social media and try to put them on blast. And do not air anything that doesn't need to be aired. Don't say anything negative about them because your bridge will get burned so fast. This has a way of exposing you for your fleshly anger without you realizing it. And a lot of people have found out the hard way. A lot. I remember there was an artist one time who was calling out a certain organization, Christian organization. This Christian organization didn't even know this artist even exists. But the artist felt like they blew him off. So the artist went on social media and started calling them out, just talking bad about them. They don't care about people such and such and such. Well, lo and behold, word got back to the organization, and the organization had to publicly, well, they didn't do it publicly. They just sent them an email, and they told them, hey, we never knew who you were. We just now getting your email, but we saw that you posting this up. We have decided not to even go the route of submitting your email anymore. We just think that it's best that we, don't even mess with you. We pray for you, and that's, God bless. Pretty much they're just telling you, hey, we decided to go in a different direction. And it's because this artist got mad because he thought they were blowing them off. But it really is just that they get so much email submissions and stuff that they just finally got to him. But they got to him immediately once the word got out that he was calling them out. And so when they found out about that, they reached out to him, told him, and then he put a public email out and said, hey, we have decided not to, the person who was complaining about it, we decided not to retract their submission. We just think it's best not to do that since they felt some type of way. And so this guy pretty much just got blacklisted and blackballed for his own mouth. So just be careful what you say to people on there on social media. Don't complain about certain things because it could come back to bite you. Okay. Another pet peeve is all this clout chasing for awards. That's another pet peeve I have. All of y'all clout chasing for the awards right now. I mean, now listen, hear me out. All right. It's not nothing negative. I don't have nothing negative about the award shows out there. I think that award shows are great. It's a great opportunity to pay homage, to give people their just due. So I love it. But what I don't like is when you are artists who are out here chasing awards and not focus on the ministry. Awards, to me personally, are about people giving you a reward or acknowledging your hard work and dedication to what you are doing because you stand out from everybody else. But the moment that you start releasing music just to get on the Billboard charts or media-based charts, the moment that you're just trying to do music just to get a Stellar Award, a Dove Award, a Kingdom Choice Award, a Gospel Hip Hop Award, a Spin Award, or any Rhythm of Gospel Award, or any other type of award out there that is given in merit to, people who really should deserve to win an award. The moment you start chasing after the awards and clout chasing for it is the moment that you have lost your path as an artist in this ministry of music. You have lost your vision. You have lost the focus on Christ and God, and you have focused on chasing what man's reward to you is better than and bigger than God's reward to you with the music and ministry that you're trying to produce. So, like I said, award shows are great. I have nothing against any award show out there because I think that people do need to be recognized for their hard work. But the moment that you start chasing after the awards and you're making music only to win an award, you're only chasing it to put it on your music resume so you can brag about being nominated 16 times for an award that you never won, or being bragging about that you won this award 4 different times, but you use it as your leverage. But you know, for me, any artist who brags to me about how many awards they won, I pass it. I really pretty much ignore you. You like farting the wind when you tell me those things. So If you're talking about, hey, I won like 6 Kingdom Choice Awards, I'm just looking at you like, okay, and what? What else? What has the Kingdom Choice Awards done for you in winning it? Have you seen financial growth from it? Have you been able to recruit the funds from making music that got you the award? Just the questions out, nobody asking. Like I said, the award shows are great. They're great opportunities. I love when people get nominated for things that they deserve. And I'm like, remember that artist just started off, now they're nominated. That's cool. When the artist starts getting too puffed up in the spirit and they start trying to brag to me when they won the award, oh yeah, I'm two-time, such and such award winner, and you lost your new title, then I just ignore it. I'm like, man, okay, well, you still the same artist that you was from day one. When you was an independent artist and no name, you still on that level. Yeah, I'm gonna look at you as from a day one as opposed to looking at you as you elevated because the people who are elevated to a higher position are the ones who never have to explain to people that they won an award. They are just like, hey, you know what? I just continue to keep doing the Lord's work. I have more respect for people who are not puffed up in the spirit and who are the most humble. K drama, very humble. D Mob, very humble. I mean, there's a list of people I can mention who are so humble. They never throw that stuff in your face. They will just be like, "Hey, man, I'm just doing this." Now, yeah, Josh says same with the Rapzilla freshman list. Listen, if you're on the freshman list, I'm happy for people who are on somebody's list. If you're on somebody's list, that means you're doing something. But don't get puffed up into the spirit of thinking that okay, because I made it, I'm all that now. Because a lot of you, the other pet peeve with this is that some of you have forgotten your day ones. You forgot the people that were with you from day one, the people who were standing by your side, and you forgot us DJs who were talking to you when you was a no name. And this is my biggest pet peeve because some of y'all have great stuff. I mean, if God had allowed me to put a list of names of people who had blown up that I was having a conversation with, including myself, but other DJs, we're all talking about this, but we have your original drops that you did for us. We have all of the interviews we did with you. And we have all that as an archive. And right to this day, we couldn't even contact you. Some of y'all have that's the stuff that hurts. When we were talking with you when you couldn't even get a gig and you were down and out and we prayed with you and we contacted you, hey man, everything will be all right, man. Let's just keep talking. Let's pray, man. Now, how's your family doing? We used to talk about your family or your livelihood. But the people I'm gonna talk about today, not naming them out, but just those who were the day ones that we used to talk to. I used to talk to on the phone and we used to email, we used to chat. We used to show up at those small chitlin circuit shows at the church and we were right there with you. We used to DJ for you. We used to support you. And all of a sudden, you got Hollywood and you blew up because now you're signed to a label. You signed to a label in Christian hip hop, whether it's Reach Records, it could be anybody. I don't care. And you blew up. And now some of you are now back to independent artist status, but now you don't even want to talk to none of us. The stories that we shared together, and not just me, but it's just like a lot of us. We talk about these things. People around here, we all know. We have a history of people that we can talk about who are really over. They blew up, they got that little taste of fame, and they got on Zilla, and they got on the South at one time, they got on um whatever. It could have been Noise 2 could have been whoever, whatever website, they got on Hot 97 with, such and such. They got on now they blew up now, they're on Holy Culture Radio and not the little people, but I'm just telling you, their music's on there, and they can't. They're not having a phone conversation no more. Oh, I don't need to talk with such and such because he's not on my level. He ain't got no clout. But when we didn't have nothing, we were the front person you talked to. Yeah, we forget. Some of y'all have forgotten that. So that's my biggest pet peeve with some of y'all. When you forgot the day ones, you forgot the people who were there for you. When you too big for your own britches now, that you can't even contact the people who prayed with you, the people who you know uplifted you, let you know through prayer and encouraged you and know all your personal secrets and your livelihood and they had close contact with you. Now I'm not saying that you gotta if the person did you wrong, okay, I can understand it. But some of you have so much pride now, like just because you're signed to a major deal, you all of a sudden you can't talk to the people that you were talking to on day one. So now the people that you're surrounded by are people who are, you know, pissing on you. You don't know what Essen means. I mean, they trashing you. They're booing all over you. They don't care for your well-being. They don't care whether you gain access or you're praying with God. They don't care about all these other things. All they care about is how much money they can make off of you. Yep. Yeah, it's not a good thing. One day, Wanda, I'm sorry, Wanda Monet's on here. Um, Josh says, and pride comes before a fall. Keeps me humble, remembering that at any time I can be brought down. And that's what I do. That's just me. I've always stayed humble. I don't even try to put myself up there anymore because I never got caught from the spirit. That's why you don't, I never been in a position of winning awards. I never been in a position of being the number one or this other stuff like that. I just always stayed humble. I stayed behind the scenes. I stayed low key. And believe it or not, any person who I have personally contacted on the phone, I'm old school. I like to contact you on the phone. I like to hear your voice. I like to hear your responses because, texting to me is like, okay, you can't really read off of a text, but I understand some people don't have time to talk, but I'm old school. I ain't to talk. Not all the time, but just talk because I like to hear what the other person's life is going on. And Josh will be the first one to say, me and him had long conversations on the phone, and we catch up with each other. We try to catch up and see what's going on. And a lot of times I see his posts and that there's things that he might be going through, and I'm praying. Even if I don't talk to him, I'm praying. I'm praying on his behalf. If he's got a bad day and he might share with some of y'all and he might be going through something, I'm praying behind the scenes because I really care for people I do talk to. That's how God has. My parents raised me that way. You always learn how to build friendships because my dad always says this. You want to be to the point where you have so many friends that you can go any place in the world and you can have a place to lay your head at. That lets you know how many friends you got. Close friends, not just associates. And I know the difference between people who just want an opportunist and people who really want to know who I am. So I cherish those. I cherish every person who I have a conversation with, you know, because you guys really matter, and I don't have no cape on. I don't have no major suit that says that I'm perfect. I have issues too. Believe me, I got a lot of issues. But when I come on here, I'm very passionate about that, and I want to share that with you guys. And that's why I'm passionate about sharing all this information. People charge for this information. People still want me to do a Patreon site just so I can make money off of it. I don't care to make no darn money. I've been chasing money my whole life. You know how many gigs I used to do that I was making almost $5,000 a night of doing one DJ event for 4 hours? I could have you on the floor to the window to the wall. You know the rest. Or used to do all the songs. And I could make $5,000. Just the promoter comes over there, the club owner, and he's doing this, and he gives me a 5 stacks right in my hand. Hey, great job tonight. Tomorrow night we're gonna do ladies' night edition. So I want you to bring your A game. It's gonna be you and DJ such and such, and you guys can work together. Who wants to lead and who wants to end it? And I got another 5,000 for you. So the next night I got another 10,000. By the whole 3 days of the week, I come home with like 1,500,000, $15,000 in cash. Put it right in the bank. I used to make money like that, but it didn't bring me no joy because I had people up there dancing and twerking and all this other stuff for the wrong music. So I don't do secular events no more. I don't do secular music like because that stuff don't move me no more. I can't. It's doing secular music to me. Not, and I'm not talking about old school R&B like the soul music and stuff like that. I'm talking about what I'm talking which music I'm talking about. Because some of y'all, a lot of people do it, and I don't knock anybody, but just doing styles of music where the message itself You know the message is bad. I've heard DJs like, man, you know, it's just a clean version. Yes, it's the clean version of the song, but did you listen to what the lyrics were saying? This song is dead serious, talking about a man cheating on his woman, his wife. Did you hear what this man is saying? He is going to do these things to this woman. Did you hear what she said or he said? And it's sexual. Even though it's like a misogynistic permission type of song, but it's like the atmosphere that you setting. This is what when you go to church and at church, most churches are doing what? Praise and worship. You know why they do praise and worship? Because praise and worship music sets an atmosphere. It sets the tone for you to receive some type of feeling that they want you to have in the church. So you can be in an emotional, weakening state of receiving the message or receiving the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want. That's what praise and worship does to you. That's why you see people throw their hands up in the air like they're surrendering to police because it's an emotional state. So imagine when you're in a club or some event and you're playing a whole bunch of R. Kelly songs. And even though R. Kelly is talking about a sexual nature, minus of what he has done in prison, I'm not talking about this, I'm just talking about the song. You are setting your audience up to be in the most horniest, and raunchiest state. And nobody in that place ain't married. So when you play Seems Like It's Ready, then Honey Love, and then any other R. Kelly song, now you got the dudes grinding up on the girls grinding up on the dudes, but you don't know who's married in there. Everybody's single, whatever. It could be gay people, whatever. And guess what? Now they're in the horniest state they've ever been in. And now they're ready to go home and get it on. You, in your own creativity as a DJ, have now set the atmosphere. You got everybody go up there and having fornication. That is on your hands, on your watch. It's no different from when you are. Uh, it's no different from if a drug dealer, if you're a drug dealer and you're trying to make money like Ghost and all these people on them reality TV shows and stuff that we watch with drug dealers and stuff, and you know that selling drugs in your community is bad, it's wrong. You got your mama, your aunts, your cousins, everybody is either hustling or they are dealing or they using. But it's your own community. Your own community is going down, but you're the kingpin. You're making millions of dollars off of the product that you're selling, and it's illegal, and you're killing people with it. You can't justify it. You can't sit there and say, well, I gotta make ends meet. This is for me to get me out the hood. But yeah, it took you to kill people to get out to even barely try to get out the hood. And you never leave because you want more money. You know, it's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. That's why I stopped doing secular events. That's why I stopped it because I don't want no blood on my hands. I don't want it. I don't want none of it. Now, it's no knock to any DJ who does open format music. You have to do what you do, and I'm not thanking anybody for that because this is my own conviction. I can't put that on nobody else. There's other DJs I personally know that will do those events. That's cool. Do it. That's there's no judgment coming from me. Because for me, I can only judge my own self. Quite self-accountable. So any DJ who does it, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Me personally, I'm not doing it because I don't want no blood on my hands. I don't want it. Because for me to DJ a secular event and got people horny and got people want to fight and cuss and everything else, that leads to murder. That leads to somebody getting hurt, somebody getting drunk, crashing the car. I don't want that blood on my hands because I was setting the atmosphere. I was setting the tone. So as a Christian DJ, I want to set the atmosphere for kingdom music, for godly music, for music that speaks life. And I can still give you a great party with the music that I have. This is me. I can't speak for anybody else. Don't bash anybody. Don't even go after any DJ in here that does it because that's their decision, and that's what they do. But me, I knew I could make so much money right now doing this stuff. But the money ain't worth it no more. It's not worth it. I can't even sleep at night. I think one time I did a gig and I just felt so nasty. That's just me. I felt nasty. I felt like I had just fell into my own septic tank filled with whatever is in it. And there was no water, running water to wash it all off. Within 5 miles, there ain't no running water. So now I gotta wear what I fell into. That's how exactly how I felt. So, like I said, everybody's different. Everybody has their own uh, vices or convictions. That's just me. Get it from me, I ain't gonna do that. But that's just like I said. I like to do what Christian hip hop music. I have a passion for it. I will have a passion until God tells me not to have a passion for it. So, and I thank brothers like DJ I Rock Jesus for really giving me so much encouragement. The late DJ Lace giving me so much encouragement over the years. So many other people who have given me some encouragement. People like DJ Ron, Josh. You guys don't know how much you guys have been inspiration to me. Shout out goes to DJ Mickey International. Like I said, everybody, DJ Chemistry, all you guys who are amazing people. That's all I got to say about that. The last question I have before I get up out of here, somebody asked is, I noticed that Christian hip hop has a hard time getting on terrestrial radio. How can we get our music on gospel stations and terrestrial radio stations like hip hop and R&B stations? For example, like getting our music on Praise 102.5 in Atlanta. And how can we go about getting our music heard on even hip hop and R&B stations? That's a good question. That's a great question. Um, the answer to your question is this. You have to ask yourself, is it worth being on terrestrial radio, or is it more worth to be on terrestrial radio as opposed to being on internet radio? And the honest answer I can give you is to get your music heard on like FM stations, it's politics involved with that. The best way to get it on there is to find out if there's a DJ who has a radio program, or for a DJ who's a mixed DJ that's on the station. Because chances are they may be able to squeeze your song into their mix or into their radio show format if they have it. That is one way. The other opportunity is to market yourself to where people will want to add your music to their station. But keep in mind, internet radio is one of the best places to get your music at, because internet radio does not, there's so many avenues for you to get on internet radio. And there's so many open areas for you to get on internet radio. Internet radio does not discriminate unless it doesn't fit their format. There are countless internet radio stations that are looking for music from all different types of format. Because we live in today's society in America where we believe that internet is like the bastard child to FM radio. And because internet radio is on the world wide web as opposed to being on somebody's FM frequency, we tend to believe that FM is the most dominant when FM doesn't even have to report your music for you to get royalty credit. Internet radio does. But I understand, because every one of us wants to hear, or at least our song or our mix being played on some type of FM radio station. Uh, there's a natural high feeling of being able to hear your own song, especially on your local radio stations. It's like the most humbling experience when you can hear yourself on 92Q or Hot 1079, Hot 1039, or some station anywhere in some major city or even market station. It's not no joy than hearing it on Praise 102.5 Atlanta, or Praise 104.1 in Richmond, Virginia, or Praise 104.7 in Washington, D.C., or even Praise 100.9 or somewhere in Charlotte. But the honest truth is, with terrestrial FM radio, it's a world of politics, which means that you're going to have to play There doesn't. You're going to have to play by their rules. And in the world of FM radio, especially commercialized radio stations that play commercials on every 20, 30 minutes in the hour of their programming, commercials run the station. They're advertisers, paid advertisers that are paying for slots to be on radio. So for commercialized radio, what they're looking at is how can I make money off of playing your song at a certain specific time or times throughout the day to where the audience will gravitate towards even listening and also financially supporting our station. How can we make money from you? That's the question that most FM commercialized radio stations are asking. So is it worth to play a Christian hip hop song that will not have any marketability because in Christian hip hop, the world of Christian hip hop, there is nobody marketing the music. We don't have any A&R reps that are marketing the music. We don't have a structure. We're not even on the Billboard charts or media-based charts anymore. So how can we market something that is not marketable? That's the question that FM radio salespeople and everybody, the station owners ask every time that we bring that question up to them when we want them to play your music. That's something you have to think about. Yes, it's cool to get your song heard, like on, like for example, Sway in the Morning when he used to play like people like a Lecrae song, but he only played you once. You know, his shows every Monday through Friday, plus the weekend on Sirius XM, but yet you only get one play, one spin for that one time, and that's the only time he will ever play it because he's not touching it again. But he will play a Glorilla and these other artists because they are marketable. It's easy to play Ice Spice all day long because this young girl is marketable. She will make you millions of dollars because all she got to do is bend over and twerk it because she has a label backing her and she has the marketability just to shake her behind. But you, as a Christian rapper, what do you bring to the table that they're asking for that can allow us to make money from our station that we play your music every hour on the top of the hour? So that's my answer for that. But if you want to get on there, just reach out to some DJs. There are DJs on stations throughout the nation, especially Christian DJs. Most of us are on FM stations. And don't look at the magnitude of the station and thinking that if you're on this big station, that's the end all be all, that you're going to be on the map. Because I got news for you. It doesn't work that way. Some of us we got a DJ that's on the largest hip hop station, the most recognized hip hop station on this planet. And even he can only play you one time per episode, per every episode he does, which is once a week. So just think about those things. Think about that. But if you're on an internet radio station, internet broadcasters are able to put you on more than just one time. They're running your music not, sometimes even at least every 3 hours. So if you can get 8 spins in a 24-hour period, you got a great song. So keep that in mind right there, folks. Keep that in mind. I know it's a lot of information, but it's just something I want you guys to understand. This is how music industry works. It's politics involved. It's about making money. Doesn't mean that stations are bad. It just means that they're owned by communications companies, corporations. And those corporate, like, you might have some of these stations that are owned by a big corporation, like, for example, um, their stations owned by iHeartRadio, and they have a chain group of radio stations, country. They might have a country, they might have a rock station, they might have a pop station, a top 40. They might have a hip hop station, and then an R&B station, and in some cases, might have a gospel station, all tied into that communications corporation. And every last one of them are running, in some ways, running the same ads, and they might run what's called um, what you call it, uh, ethnic ads, or I would say ethnic, like as far as marketing towards certain races of people. So a top 40 station is going to market to soccer moms. A hip hop and R&B station is going to market to black women, all right, and to black males, young black males and young black women. Um, a gospel station is going to market to older black men and women, older generation because they have money. And then you have like like I said, other stations are marketing to certain genres and I call it demographics. So not ethnic, but demographic of people. So there's certain people based upon age, race, and sex that they market to. So you just have to think about how is your song marketable? Is your song made for radio? You got to ask those questions. Because a lot of you guys do songs, Christian rappers, y'all doing some songs, and your songs ain't made for radio. Some of you make songs that's made for an album. Like if I just listen to it, it would be something I'll just listen to because it has a great message, but it's not made for radio. It doesn't have that wow factor. It doesn't have a factor where I can just listen to it over and over again. See, radio is about attracting a listener to keep listening to the station, which means that every song that this station plays, they are trying to keep the amount of mass of listeners to keep staying on that station and listening until you usually get to the commercials. If it's a station that plays commercials, they're probably going to lose about half their listenership until the commercials come back off and then music comes back on. They're going to always gain that listenership. Every song has to either, in some ways, has to complement each other. This is where you hire what's called a program director. The program director is like the guy in New York City, the police officer in New York City who stands in the middle of the intersection and is directing traffic. That's what a program director does. They are designed to direct music to be in a format and a pattern to where every song that's being played is complementing the next one and the next one. So everybody who's listening to that station will never feel like they need to change the station because man, they just playing this person. Now, oh my goodness, they just come. I ain't changing the station until the commercials come on. And when the commercials come on, you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go listen to another station. But you best be sure after 10 minutes, I'll come back to the station because I know they got some next jams. And then, they come right back and they're like, oh man, they going in. That's what radio is about. Radio is about attracting the listenership because more chances are if the station is great, they're gonna stay for the commercials, and the commercials and the advertisers are all gonna play the best advertisers that pay for the top spots and say, hey, okay, it's a Chick-fil-A comes with a commercial on there. Well, now I'm hungry. I want to go Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or whatever, and the car dealerships. Well, man, I got this beautiful jalopy. I might want to go over to the car dealership that did advertising about. So that's how it formulates into a commercialized radio. I know it's a lot for y'all to think, right now, but this is how I learned radio over the year. This is how radio operates. It operates out of a machine. So if you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it. But so with your music can get on there, but it's going to take somebody who has enough confidence and enough um, bone to say, hey, let's try this song out real quick. And if it creates a buzz with the audience and they might like it, they might keep it on there. But if it doesn't make any moves and no money, it ain't going back on there unless the DJ might play it. So your best bet, work with the internet radio stations, work with the podcasters, work with the radio shows. There's countless people who are doing some type of format of of a show that's playing music. So get your music on there first. Get it to their audience. Always think small first before you think big. Stop trying to chase after the big whale when you can go for the little fish. Go for the whiting. Some of y'all trying to catch the trout and the tunas and the marlins, trying to catch them on them big boats with the big, with your net, but you're not made for that yet. Go after the small fish, the guppies, because those are the ones that's going to add up. The more smaller markets that you go to, they add up. I know it might not seem like it's nothing right now, but the more you keep getting your music on there, it builds because you don't know that you're building you're building something that's going to be consistent. Now you got like 20 stations playing your music on internet radio compared to trying to get onto just one. That's how you work. That's how you work the system. All right. And believe it or not, people have got discovered because somebody was playing their music over and over again, and people got, man, let me check that song out, man. Everybody's playing that song. I didn't know we had. Do we have that song? Let's reach out to the artists and go get that song. You see what I'm saying? That's how most of y'all get popped. So some of you guys got that crash course in that. I know it's a deep answer, but it's just something I want that person to understand. It's a lot involved. That's why I say it's politics. But in some ways, you can play with the politics if you learn how to do your cards right. But start small and then work your way up. Chances are most of you will get discovered. Just I've discovered so many artists just by them doing a reel on Instagram and TikTok. So try that out. I've discovered a lot. I've found a lot of artist music because of that. I found a new artist tonight, but if I had to do a review, I'm gonna do a review on her song pretty soon. But other than that, that's it, y'all. If you got any more other questions, always feel free to hit me up. I know it's late tonight, and I thank you guys for doing that. And I'll be on live on Friday night. We're gonna do a 10-year anniversary. No, not 10 years. I'm sorry, 7-year anniversary for the DJ JesusBeats show. So it's nothing major. I don't have no big party and stuff like that. We're just gonna if you guys tune in, I'll release the phone lines. You guys want to call in and give shout outs, whatever, or give song requests. But 7 years is great. We're at a 7-year stretch, and there's so many other radio shows that's been on also celebrate milestones. So I pray that you guys will this Friday night starting at 6 p.m. We're going to celebrate and have a good time. God bless you. All right, peace.